All right. I'm going to go ahead and get started. It is 10:20, so I am going to start on time. I have a couple of announcements. First of all, the verification letter at the end of the syllabus is due tonight at 11:59 p.m. Make sure you do not turn it in late. The review one, it looks like this, is due tonight for you guys at 11:59, and I'm going to be going over some problems. So review one is due tonight at 11:59. If you're not showing me your video right now, I need to see your face. This is different than the spring. I mean, you have to show your face, so I'm going to mark you absent, regardless of what you write for your absence. You must show your video now. You don't have a choice about that now. Yesterday in groups, I took attendance and I noticed a bunch of people marked themselves present and they weren't in the groups. You will be marked absent. And I need to tell you that I love playing games. But if you want to play games with me, you're going to lose because I win at pretty much every game I play. So I'm just letting you know that if I had you go to groups and you act like you're going and you're not, or you're playing Xbox, you guys need to know that it's okay if you play Xbox. Life is all about choices. You know what I mean? So you're welcome to play Xbox. The problem is I don't know if you're going to pass my exams. So all of these class meetings are mandatory. They are required, just like if you were coming to school. That's the thing that hasn't quite registered to all of us, is that we are in school and you are required to come to the class meetings. If there's an extenuating circumstance, you have to let me know. You can't just be absent. So you have to act just like we would be if we're at school. So you are expected to attend class. If there's an extenuating circumstance, you could let me know, but otherwise, I mean, you have to be in class. So life is all about choices. If you want to play Xbox, go ahead. I just don't know if you can pass the class. All right. Well, once again, I look like a fool in front of my students because 2 minutes before period one, I got a message about my math lab. So I just posted the registration information for my math lab, and guess what? I don't want you to read it because there's some kind of problem with the district and they don't want me to go over it. And I was planning on going over that today with your online accounts, but they don't want me to. So I apologize once again for posting something that I can't go over, but just know that this isn't my fault. I got a message 2 minutes before I taught period one. So do me a favor, hold off. I will go over the registration stuff tomorrow during class, but please do not read or look at the registration stuff. Okay, it could cause problems because I don't know what they're going to have to do now. So do not look at the registration stuff today. I'll go over it tomorrow. All right, I do want to talk about the assignments really quick. Some of you are wondering, do you turn in your assignments? And the answer is no. So this is a college preparatory course. So you are not turning in your assignments, but you have to do them. If you don't do them, you're not going to be able to pass my tests. So what you're required to do tonight, or if you're done with this, one is to submit your assignment percentage. And I went over that yesterday, how to compute your percentage. Review one is 54 problems. And so it would be not what you get right, it would be what you attempted to do over 54. So if you attempt to do all of them, it's 54 out of 54, and you would submit 100%. What do you do with the assignment and all this work you did? You put these in the assignment section of your notebook so that you can review them for the exam. So you're going to have a whole bunch of pages, 54 problems. You're going to put this in your notebook in the assignment section to review for an exam. All right, does anybody have any questions about the assignments? All right, what I would like to do then now is, well, yeah, I want to go over review 1. So the purpose of the review is, having taught for 30 years, there's a bunch of stuff from elementary school that they didn't teach you, or they didn't teach it right. I don't know. There's a bunch of stuff from middle school that I don't know what happened. So those types of things I'm clearing up right now, like the order of operations, like a negative and a negative is a negative and you add, like square roots, powers. So you're probably learning a lot from me in just some of the stuff we've done recently, and that's awesome because, like I told you, I'm not a psychic, but I do know things that you don't know about, like adding fractions. You're confused about that. So don't be ashamed of that. That's not your fault. We dropped the ball. Teachers younger. And there's reasons for that. You know, the elementary school teachers, they're not math teachers. So a lot of them don't know how to teach math. They try their best. They're teaching a bunch of subjects, but a lot of them don't know how to teach math. You guys, I need to see your face. You will be, I'm going to mark you absent. If I don't believe you're here, I will mark you absent. You don't have a choice. In the spring, you didn't get to show your face. Now you have to show your face. You don't have an option about that. So you do have to show your video every day. So you do have to show your video. Try to, when you're attending class, try to get in a routine just like you were going to school. You know, do your hair up, you know, take a shower, eat some breakfast. Try to get in a routine so that you are willing to show your face. Otherwise, I'm not sure if you're here or not. Okay, so let's get started. Would anyone like me to work a problem, or do you have a question about a concept? Okay, this is review 1. It is due tonight, right? So review 1. All right, who would like me to work a problem?
Can you do number 11 on the rules for integers?
Sure. That's number 11?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. When they have nested parentheses, this is a computer thing. This isn't a computer class. So other than trying to help you guys be people of good character, responsible, have integrity, be respectful, be honest, that's the most important thing to me. If you learn a little bit of math, that's great. But I really want you guys to be people of good character, because that's what's going to land your big jobs and get you your best friends and everything else. I'm going to also teach you how to talk math, that's vocabulary, and how to write mathematical notation. So how to write problems correctly. So this is a computer thing, don't do that. So the mathematical notation is this. So write it like that. So you have 25 plus 23, and this is divided by 6 plus 2. And then what happens here is they have a parenthesis and then another parenthesis squared. No. Yeah, squared. And then there's a divided by again. 7 plus 11. Sorry, I ran out of room. I think that's right. Okay, so make sure you have this notation. If you don't use proper notation, that can be causing some confusion. So a lot of students don't know that, but the mathematical notation could be causing you problems. Okay, here we go. We're going to follow the order of operations. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. So we're going to do what's in parentheses first. So I think that's 48 divided by 8. And since we got rid of the parentheses, I'm going to make these regular and square it. Divided by, we have another set of parentheses, 18. So now we're still dealing with parentheses. And remember I told you I don't divide? So I'm not going to divide. I'm just going to say 8 times what is 48, and that's 6 squared divided by 18. So now, exponents, this isn't 12, right? This is 6 times 6. So this is 36 divided by 18. And then 18 times what is 36? 2. Okay? So a lot of times students will say, I don't know, bear with me just a second. Sometimes students say, Ms. Birch, it's so easy when you do it. The reason why is because I'm showing correct notation and I'm also showing my work. So that's why it looks easy to you. And so you want to try to emulate what I'm showing. So I am modeling what I want you to do. Please do exactly what I'm doing. You know, I've had every math class that exists. So even if I were to do this problem, I would do this problem in 4 steps. You need to do it in 4 steps. Okay? Don't do it any less. Do it in 4 steps. Okay? Okay, next question.
Can you do 15 on the other page?
15 on the dot to dot.
Yeah.
Now, you guys do remember with the assignments that you're going to put all 54 problems together with your papers. And so you might have 10 papers. After you put them all together, don't forget your name, date, period, review, 1. And you're opening it and putting it in the assignment section of your notebook. Don't forget to send me the assignment percentage. All right, look at this one. 3 times a radical. And this radical is 16. I don't know why they put those parentheses. They're redundant. Plus 1 quantity squared. That's it. All right. We're going to do what's in the parentheses first. Well, what's in the, you guys remember this? So remember that square root means that if you have 2 of something, 1 comes out. So I'll just show you a couple problems. So just pay attention. So square root of 4 is 2 times 2. So that means a 2 comes out. Square root of 25 is 5 times 5. So a 5 gets to come out. Square root of 16 is 4 times 4. So a 4 gets to come out. Now, what if it gets more complicated? You guys are writing this all down, right, in your notes? So when I'm doing things like this, you should write things down in your notes because I'm always clearing up things. What if you had the square root of 8? Well, the prime factorization of 8, so you pick 2 numbers, bring out a prime. You know, prime is a number that can only be multiplied to 1 in itself. 2 times what is 8? 2 times what is 4? So 8 is 2 times 2 times 2. So who gets to come out? 1, 2, and a 2 gets stuck. So think of them as being in jail. They only get to come out if there's 2 of them. So if there's 2 of them, 1 gets to come out. If there's only 1, like the square root of 8, he has to stay in there. All right, so let's go back to this. I hope you're writing these things down in your notes that I'm clearing up. So the square root of 16 is 4. And we're still doing parentheses. And now we're doing exponents. Don't multiply. You'll get the wrong answer. So according to the order of operations, you have to evaluate this exponent, which is 25. So the answer is 75. It's very important that you follow the order of operations. That's why we're doing this review. Because like I said, a lot of people always knew how to say it, but nobody knew how to do it. And when I say nobody, I'm talking about 80% of students can say it, but they can't do it. Okay, 75? Did you follow that, babe?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna turn on my air conditioning. Come up with the next problem. Okay, the next problem.
Can you do number 13 on this paper?
Okay, was that 13 on the dot to dot?
Yeah.
Okay, this radical goes all the way across. I hope your paper looked right. Was your paper right on this? Did the radical go all the way across? Can somebody answer me, please? Did the radical go all the way across?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. Because there was a typo on one of my papers. Okay, so you're gonna bring this radical all the way down, and we're gonna do what's in the parentheses, and we're gonna do the powers. So 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 2 is 4, and 2 to the 0 is 1. Any number to the 0 power is 1, except 0 to the 0 is indeterminate. So it's like outer limits. So we can talk about that later, but 0 to 0 is not 1. All right, so now we have the square root of 9, and we know that 9 is 3 times 3, so a 3 gets to come out. That's a perfect square. So perfect squares are like 1's a perfect square, 4 is a perfect square, 9's a perfect square, 16 is a perfect square, 25 is a perfect square, 36 is a perfect square, 49 is a perfect square. So this is 5, this is 6, this is 7, and so on. 100 is a perfect square. So yeah, 9 is a perfect square. It's perfect. Perfect. Square? 9, 3 times 3, because squares have equal sides, right? So perfect square, 3 times 3. Perfect square. You guys are writing this in your notes, right? I'm explaining a lot of very important stuff right now. So all right, anybody want me to work another problem?
I have a
Omaha, I
question.
know there's more questions.
I have a question about number 12 on the dotted one. So can you I simplified the fractions. Is it okay if I did that or?
Okay, I want you to hold on. Wait until I write it down, okay? Hold on a minute. You said is it number 12?
Yeah.
Okay, let me write this down. First of all, you're going to write it like this. Do not use that slash. That's a computer symbol. Okay, now listen up. When I was in school, my teachers made me simplify at the end of a problem. That was crazy, and I resent them for that. We are always going to simplify at the beginning of the problem. Because think of it, doesn't it make sense if I told you, simplify your life? Aren't I telling you to make your life easy? So don't we want the problem to be easy? Like, why wouldn't we want to simplify? So you're going to always hear me, simplify, 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 simplify. So here we go. This is division. We're going to do multiplication. Ready? 3 times what is 6? 2 times what is 6? So another thing I'm going to be doing with you is I'm going to be doing things efficiently. And efficiently means doing it the best way. So I'm going to teach you how to do math efficiently. This is efficient. And we simplified at the beginning to make our life easy, to make the problem easy. Okay, is that what you did, hon?
Yeah, that's what I did, and I wanted to, because I thought at first I was supposed to find like the common denominator.
No. Hey, Mark, check this out. If you can simplify and get rid of the fractions, we hate fractions. Let's get rid of them. You know what I mean? So nobody likes fractions. So if we can get rid of them, get rid of them. All right, go ahead. Other questions?
Could you do number 8 for the dots?
Number
Dotted
8?
page?
Sure. Number 8 on this one. Okay, now this doesn't have nested parentheses, so we're just going to use regular 3 squared minus 2 cubed minus the quantity 5 minus 3 to the 0 power. All right, you ready for this one? Some people think that you can distribute across a plus or a minus. You cannot do that. So this is not 5 to the 0, negative 3 to the 0. You cannot distribute, you cannot deliver the power across a plus or a minus. And what happens is students get confused about this and this. See, on this one, you have to deliver the power. See, this is a sum add, this is a product multiply. So this really means 3 squared x squared, which is 9x squared. But don't ever deliver a power across a plus or a minus. So that's going to be something I'm going to have to clear up. I'm saying it for the first time. I'm going to say it about 100 more times. Cannot deliver a power across a plus or a minus. So people are getting confused about rules. All right, here we go. All right, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. We're going to do what's in the parentheses first. So 3 times 3 is 9. Now, you guys ready for this? That negative is not part of the power. Remember we talked about this? If it was written like this, it is part of the power. But when it's written like this, it is not part of the power. So this negative just drops down, and this is 2 times 2 times 2, which is 8. And over here, this is 2 to 0. I dropped off the parentheses because they're redundant. Okay, we're still doing parentheses. 2 times 1 minus 2 to the 0. So now we're doing exponents. So this would be 2 times 1 minus 1. This is 2 minus 1 equals 1. Now, I did do some extra steps here, but as long as you're careful of the order of operations, I'll tell you the general rule. If you can skip steps and not make mistakes, fine. But if you skip a step that's important and you screw it up, we don't want that. So just make sure that if you skip a simple step, like on this one, I probably wouldn't have written this. I probably would have just said 2 minus 1 is 1. Also up here, I may not have written this. I'm going to just say 2 times 1 is 2. Just make sure that you don't skip any important steps. Okay, we're going to stop this for a minute and I'll come back. Remember, this is due tonight. I want to show you review 2. And I'm making this due on Sunday night because it's a little bit challenging. So the first page is pretty simple. It looks like this. It's a crossword puzzle of the order of operations. So you'll be able to do this hopefully. It's this page I want to look at. So this is a puzzle too, but I want to go over it with you to make sure you understand how to do it. Okay? All right, here we go. Okay, this is, you don't have to get this out, just listen to me, unless you want to follow along in the review too that I put in Google Classroom. This is the problem of the day. And we know that August is represented by 8. January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, 8. So what I'm going to want you to do is I'm going to want you to use 6 8s. So you cannot use any more or any less. And what you're going to do with those 6 8s is you're going to come up with the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way to 20. Now, you can use addition, subtraction, multiply, or divide, and you can also use parentheses. Now, you won't be able to come up with them consecutive like this. You're going to start out by just guessing. So just guess something. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to guess. I'm going to do this. Plus, minus, plus, minus, plus, and see what I get. Now, you're not going to have any room to work on this paper. You're going to need like 25 sheets of scratch paper. Okay? You're only going to be writing the answers on this. All right. So let's see what I have here. So I'm just going to put the positives together. Like I said before, we're not going to follow the order of operations because adding and subtracting is the same thing. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. 8 times 4 is 32. And we have a negative, and a negative is a negative, right? So a negative and a negative is not a positive, right? So I gave you this paper. So if you look down here, a negative times a negative is a positive, but we're not doing that. We're saying a negative and a negative is a negative. We're adding, right? This box. A negative and a negative is a negative, and you add. So a negative and a negative is a negative, and you add, and now we just found the number 16. So what you would do under 16 is you would write 8 plus 8 minus 8 plus 8 minus 8 plus 8, and we found an answer. Okay? Now, you are going to start out like this, just guessing. So let's try another one. So we're going to use 6 8s again, and you're going to guess again. Just do whatever you want. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Watch what I'm going to do this time. I'm going to go, okay. I'm going to use parentheses and force things to happen. So I'm going to put minus, minus, plus, and then at the end, I'm going to divide. So let's see what I came up with. Well, 8 minus 8 is 0. Plus 8 minus 8 is 0. And then 8 divided by 8 is 1. So I came up with the number 1. By using parentheses. So you would write that on the 1 here, you would write this. And you can use mine if you want. We're doing this together. So if you want to copy mine on these, you can. Just write them down, and you can copy them onto your sheet. Whenever we're working together, feel free to use the answers we're coming up with together. You don't have to go and do them again unless you want to. Let's do one more. So now we found 16 and we found 1. Okay, so I don't know. What do we want to do this time? I don't know. I kind of like those parentheses, so I'm going to put them in groups again. So what if I do 8 divided by 8 and 8 divided by 8, and over here I just do minus? Well, isn't 8 divided by 8 1? 8 divided by 8 is 1 plus 0. So look at, I found the number 2. Wow. I think I found that. Now, when you do these problems, you could do this, 888 divided by 888, that's 1. So I follow the rules. I use 6 eighths, and I use division to come up with the number 1. So that's what you're going to try to do. You're going to try to come up with the integers 1 through 20 by using 6 eighths. All right, does anybody have any questions about this? This is part of review 2, and it's due on Sunday night because this will be a little challenging coming up with the numbers. So review 2 I'll show you what it looks like. You're going to do this page first, the crossword puzzle, and then you're going to do the 8s problem of the day. That's review 2. All right. Okay, we could do some more problems if you want from review 1. If you have any other questions, you can ask me. Go ahead, there's no stupid questions. I'm not lying to you, I need you to listen to me. The only stupid questions are the ones that aren't being asked, okay? Because students sometimes are like, well, I'm not gonna ask because everybody knows that. I'm not gonna ask because I'm the only one that doesn't know how to do it. That's a lie in your brain. Usually when you ask a question, there's at least 5 people or more that also want to know that answer. And I'm not kidding you, and I'm not just saying that. I'm being really honest with you. I've been teaching for a long time, and I know this. Okay, so don't hold back. The more you ask, the better off we're all going to be. Okay, I promise you. So the more you ask me, the better off we're going to be. So with that, go ahead. Anybody have a question about anything?
Can you do 18 on the dotted paper?
18?
Yeah.
All right, this is on this dotted one?
Yeah.
Okay, I personally don't like dots for multiplication, but they have it on there, so I'll put it. Okay, look at this should be 6 divided by 4, not the way it's written on this paper. Don't use that slash. Did you hear me? Do not use that slash. It's not a math symbol. All right, so let's see what we got here. Okay, there are no parentheses, there are no exponents, so we want multiply or divide. So this is multiplication, and that is division. So this would be 24 minus, remember earlier, said simplify? So look at this. Can I divide, but 4 doesn't go into 6, right? See, before we had something like this, 6 times what is 12? 2 is easier. But we don't have that situation now. So watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to divide by 2 and divide by 2. Now, some people, teachers have allowed them to do that. That's just wrong. And I'm so sick of seeing it. So I'm going to apologize for somebody showing you wrong, but do not do this. This is wrong. All right. So what you want to write is you want to write it like that. Okay, so here we go. So 2 times what is 6? 3. 2 times what is 4? Okay, now we put this over 1 and get a common. So the common denominator is 2. So I'm going to multiply by 2 over 2. And you guys realize the reason why we can do this, right? This right here is equivalent to 1. And this right here, 2 over 2, is equivalent to 1. So if you're wondering, how can we just change problems like that? We're not changing problems. This is 2. 2 over 2 is 1, and 2 over 2 is 1. So that's why we can do it. So here we go. So 24 times 2 is 48 over 2 minus 3/2. So when you're adding and subtracting fractions, you need a common denominator, positive and a negative. Here. Positive and a negative depends on the sign of the bigger number, which is positive. This is the bigger number, and opposites subtract. So that would be what, 45? Now, if you were doing this little puzzle, I think that they wrote it as a decimal, right? So I'll figure it out, but we're not doing decimals. So I'll just tell you what it is real quick, using my phone right now. So 45 divided by 2 is 22.5. But like I said, in this math class, we're not changing things to decimals unless it's a real life problem. This isn't a real life problem, so this is a good answer. Now, if we could simplify this, if this was 44 over 2, we always simplify, but we're not writing things as mixed up. Let's do the mixed number, just for the fun of it. 2 times what is 4? 2 times what is 5? With the remainder of 1. Do you notice how I did that? Watch, I'll show you again. 2 times what is 4? This is on the bottom. The remainder, 1. So this is equivalent to 22.5. We are not writing the mixed number. We are not writing the decimal. We want this answer. For this puzzle, you needed that answer, but your math teacher wants these. I'm assuming you know how to write a mixed number. So in high-level math classes, they don't have you do this because they're assuming you know how to do it. So improper fraction. Okay, did you follow that? Okay, now everyone's having problems with this type of thing. So if you have any questions, ask me. Just remember, when you're adding and subtracting, you need a common denominator. A positive and a negative figure 2 things. Figure out the sign, which is positive, and you subtract. So try to train yourself. What is the sign? What do I do? What is the sign? What do I do? Positive and negative depends on the sign of the bigger number, positive, and opposites subtract. Okay, those are all good questions. Let's keep them coming, clearing up a lot of problems here. I'm hoping that some of you believe you can actually do math. And if you're starting to believe that you can, guess what? You're on the right track. Because like I told you, if you keep an open mind, I can teach the 3rd grade math. I can teach the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th grade math. So I can teach you. What I can't do is I can't teach you if you believe you can't. So if you believe you can't, anything I say is not going to matter. You will not learn from me. So you have to have an open, you have to believe. You have to believe in yourself. I believe in you because I think you're all capable. I don't care. Understood math since 1st grade. I do believe the way I'm going to teach you that you can do it. And how about this? I'll let you know if you can't. Okay. I'll let you know. All right, go ahead. Other questions?
Number 7 on the same page.
The dot to dot?
Yeah.
Okay, which one?
7.
7?
Yeah.
Yeah, so everybody has questions about these fractions. So did I already do this problem or no? Somebody answer, please. Did I already do this problem?
No.
Okay, I think I did it last period. Okay, here we go. All right, when you have a negative, it can go on the top, the middle, or the bottom. We do not like negatives on the bottom. Do that. So you're going to keep the negative on the top or the middle. Don't put it on the bottom. It's just etiquette. Don't do it. In this problem, we need a common denominator, right? So what you're going to do is you're going to put this number over 1 because integers are represented over 1. 3 over 1 is 3. 5 over 1 is 5. 10 over 1 is 10. 15 over 1, 15. So now we're going to get a common denominator. And you saw me write it one way. Another correct way to write it would be like this. And the reason why we can do that is because that is some number multiplied by 1, which doesn't change the problem. Okay, so we have -3/4, and you multiply. -8/4. So the denominator stays. What's a negative and a negative on my adding part? Go ahead, everybody unmute yourself and tell me. What's a negative and a negative?
You add.
You add.
We're going to figure out the sign first. Hold on. We're going to figure out the sign first. A negative and a negative. What's the sign?
Negative.
Yes, it's negative. And now we're going to do the operation, which you said add. So try to train yourself to do 2 things. What's the sign? What do I do? What's the sign? Negative and negative is a negative. What do you do? Add. What's the sign? Negative and negative is a negative and you add. Try to figure out the sign and then what do you do? What's the sign? What do I do? What's the sign? What do I do? Now, I think they put a decimal on this one too, which they shouldn't have, but it's for this puzzle. 11 divided by 4 is -2 points. But like I said, we're not gonna write decimals. So the math etiquette is if you start with a fraction, end with a fraction. If you start with a decimal, end with a decimal. We're never gonna do that. We're never gonna start with a fraction, end with a decimal. Never. Just for this puzzle. In fact, we're not even gonna work with decimals because decimals are approximations. Fractions are exact answers. So we're not working with approximations. We're working with exact answers. So we like the fractions. All right. Class is almost over. And I just want to tell you, I hope you guys have a good day. Thank you so much for being engaged and for participating and for all your questions. I hope you learned something today from me. Like I said, do not look at the registration stuff or my math lab. I will cover it tomorrow. Okay, I am so sorry once again that I look like a fool in front of you, but I can't help it. They keep changing things at the last minute. So anyhow, I apologize for posting that. But I will address it tomorrow. All right. Have a great day, you guys. Have a good day. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, guys. Bye, Angel. Bye, guys. Have a good day. Bye, guys. Oh, my babies. Bye, guys. Have a good day. Bye, guys. Have a good one.